Back live at Reckling Park here in Houston, getting ready for first pitch tonight. Rice and Stanford, as we take a look at the Owls and their defensive lineup put out by head coach Jose Cruz Jr. Outfield is Trayton Rank getting the start in left field tonight. Kite McDonald at center, Ben Dukes in right. The infield behind Parker Smith, Jack Rydell at third, Ben Royo at shortstop, Pierce Gallo over at second base tonight. Max Johnson getting the start for the Owls, and Manny Garza behind the plate tonight. He will catch the Owls ace, Parker Smith. That is the lineup defensively for the Rice Owls put out by head coach Jose Cruz Jr. Again, the first of three this weekend here between Stanford and Rice. And Kyle, let's talk about Parker Smith getting the start tonight. And he's a local product from Bel Air High School. And they're going to count on him tonight to get the Owls back on track.
This is a guy that dazzled on Friday nights last year, preseason all-conference in their first season American going into 2024. He was a USA Baseball College National Team invitee, first team all-conference USA a season ago. He's 92 to 93 with the fastball, two-seam, slider, changeup is his repertoire as we see first pitch.
Yep, Parker Smith first pitch there to leadoff man. This is Court McDonald, the starting left fielder for the Stanford Cardinal, just a sophomore. We're going to talk a lot about this young lineup that Stanford puts out there. Only one senior in the lineup tonight for the Cardinal. And Court McDonald, one of four sophomores getting the start tonight for the Stanford and head coach David Esker.
This is a guy with an expanded role going into year two with the program. So we can pull back on a bunt that's called for the first strike of the at-bat. He only appeared in 10 games last year, but he's had a hot start to this season. They're in game 8, and he is riding a 7-game hitting streak entering tonight.
Crowd starting to come in. Check out some baseball here tonight. LSU was here at Reckling Park on Wednesday. You and I were here calling that game. 4,610 fans, the largest crowd they've had since 2016.
Yeah, great turnout, obviously, here on South Main for both sides showing out. LSU just across the way in town playing tonight against the Texas Longhorns over at the Astros Foundation Classic. Really great baseball all across the city this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of great programs made their way to Houston, and you got two of them here tonight with Rice and Stanford and that 6-team field over at Minute Maid Park. There's also a tournament going on in Southwest Houston in Sugarland as Parker Smith picks up the strikeout on the leadoff man for Stanford, Court McDonald.
And this is a guy that they need to be a tone center in their weekend rotation. Looked really good last week against Louisiana. And this one right here, you see pulling the string on the off-speed pitch for the swing and miss stuff for the first out.
Parker Smith, all AAC for the preseason team coming into this new year as Rice makes that transition in conferences. Easy put out there by Smith, who tosses it over there to Max Johnson, and 2 quick outs here top of the first inning.
Yeah, Nadi tried to check his swing. He ends up putting the ball in play softly, and Parker Smith, the second you make that throw, you, of course, are the other defender out there on the infield. He does a good job of coming off the mound, fielding it cleanly, and just having a nice, easy underhand toss over to Johnson for that second out.
Parker Smith, big body out there on that mound, 6'4", 230, again from right here in Houston at Bel Air High School, about 15 minutes away from the Rice campus. All-Conference USA as well, part of the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team training camp after a big standout season for Parker Smith. This is Malcolm Moore at the plate for Stanford, starting catcher. Play him to pull here on the season. Check out Moore's numbers. Off to a little bit of a slow start. He started all 8 games for Stanford. He's hitting .207 right now. Home run, 5 RBI so far this season. That one carried pretty well there in left field, and it's gone. Over the fence and left. That one had a lot of carry right there. The wind kind of took it as well. And a solo shot for Malcolm Moore. Trayton Rank had a run on that one, but saw that one sail over the left field fence there.
Yeah, that's a good job by Moore. Obviously, you mentioned the slow start here to the early goings of this season, but this is a guy that they're counting on for very big things. Preseason first-team All-American, Golden Spikes, and bringing collegiate slugger, watch list, you name it. This is someone that they count on, and he's able to set the tone here with 2 outs in this opening frame. You see, obviously, looking at a pitch there, but he was able doing a good job of inside outing a pitch down that left field line and depositing it over the left field corner to give them an early 1-0 lead.
So run across for Stanford here in the top of the first inning. Brings up the cleanup hitter. This is Trevor Haskins, the starting shortstop for Stanford.
Here we take one more look at the home run. You see him did a good job of just driving this pitch down the left field line. And as you mentioned, Rank giving chase all the way to the corner before he watches it go down. As we take a look down the left field line, obviously it was fair, and you see it falling about 4 feet over.
Ground ball over to second base. Kind of a crowd there at first base, but it's Gallo over to Max Johnson. And the Owls get out of this inning, but they give up the run here to Stanford on the home run ball by Malcolm Moore off of Parker Smith. We are through a half inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford leading Rice 1-0. Bottom of the first inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. 1-0 Stanford after the solo home run by Malcolm Moore to get the Cardinal on the board. Owls turn now offensively, their first at-bat. Let's take a look at the defense now for the Stanford Cardinal tonight. McDonald, Hott, and Reynolds handle left, center, and right field tonight. The infield now behind starting pitcher Matt Scott. Timo Becerra is at third base. Trevor Haskins is the shortstop for Stanford. Over at second base, the lone senior in the lineup is Owen Cobb. And Jimmy Nadai, the sophomore first baseman, and behind the plate is Malcolm Moore, the sophomore, who had that solo shot. And there is the starting pitcher, Matt Scott, coming in 0-2, Kyle.
Yeah, obviously you see the big frame, 6'7", 247 pounds. This was a guy that was a workhorse last season as a freshman. His repertoire is as this. He's 96 to 97, but we saw him light up the gun at 98 last week. Fastball, slider, and he added a splitter in the offseason. Last year as a freshman was using more of the changeup, really developed that splitter as just part of his 3-pitch mix here in 2024. So number 10 sophomore rated by Perfect Game and the number 4 overall draft prospect in the 2025 class by D1 Baseball.
Looking to get that first victory of the season, and he will face the Rice Owls lineup. And our leadoff man for Rice is Trayton Rank, getting the start tonight in left field. Transfer into the Rice program, previously at Florida State. Take a look at the batting order. It's leadoff man is Rank, followed by McDonald. Jack Rydell, the third baseman, will hit third. Nathan Becker, cleanup. Then Garza, Gallo, Dukes, Royo, and Johnson. The hitting lineup tonight for the Rice Owls.
Say Rank's one of 2 transfers, joining Davion Hickson from Florida State to join the Owls here on South Main in 2024. A year ago, he hit .288 in 47 games, making 39 starts for the Seminoles.
There's the 0-2.
They peeled down the first. He did not go. Your home plate, your crew starting at home plate is Matthew Martinez. At first is Matt McKendry. At second base is Jack Blackburn. And over at third is Jerry Johnson as part of the 4-man crew tonight here at Reckling Park.
Night game tonight, and a late afternoon game coming up on Saturday here at Reckling Park. Another afternoon game on Sunday as well. Kite McDonald on deck for Rice. He'll be followed by Jack Rydell, just underway here at Reckling Park. Stanford's had a series of home games, hitting the road now. Trip out here to Texas. Cal State Fullerton, UNLV, Penn State was in for 3 along with San Jose State in their first 8 games. They'll play 3 here at Rice, then head back to the West Coast. Yeah, that's got a piece of that one to stay alive.
Making their first trip on the road of the season. We were, talking to them, trying to figure out what that looked like coming down. They got a lift in yesterday, got an early lift in this morning for traveling down on Thursday. BP under the lights last night, and then lifted here on Rice's campus over in the football facility early this morning.
Yeah, Tuesday they'll be at Cal, and then next weekend, as rank swings and misses, and the strikeout #1 in the contest for Matt Scott. But then they open Pac-12 play against Washington on the road next weekend.
This is a team that's coming off back-to-back Pac-12 titles as part of 3 straight trips to Omaha, and they are the preseason #2 pick in that league this year. As we take one more look, and you see just running in that fastball low and inside for that swing and miss stuff for the first punch out.
One out here, bottom of the first inning. Brings up Kite McDonald now, the starting center fielder for the Rice Owls. He's a graduate. Everyday man out there in center for Jose Cruz Jr.
This is a guy that will help them as they get set for their first season in the American, as he came over from Wichita State, where he was an All-American Athletic Conference player for them last year, second team honors in 2023.
Here's the 1-1 from Scott.
That's a good pitch and a good eye by McDonald to spit on that low inside fastball.
Get him on base, and McDonald can get around pretty good. He's got some good wheels. He had 20 stolen bases when he was at Wichita State.
And a good eye by McDonald to spit on that low inside fastball.
Get him on base, and McDonald can get around pretty good. He's got some good wheels. He had 20 stolen bases when he was at Wichita State.
So you see in the background, 2003 national champions for the Owls. They'd like to get back there. Stanford, tall task obviously this year, is they like to try to make their 4th straight appearance in the College World Series.
3-1, call strike. Full count now on Kite McDonald.
McDonald thought that might have been a little out, so of course asked Matthew Martinez, is that as far you'll go, as they try to establish a zone here in this first inning of play.
McDonald hitting .258 through the first 8 games. And he will take the truck down the first base. First walk given up by Matt Scott. So a runner on now for the Rice Owls with 1 out here in the first inning.
And Scott, 17 strikeouts now on the season, and that's his 7th walk issued, so plus 10 in the strikeout to walk ratio. But obviously that one right there, you don't want to have free passes, especially early in the game as you work to establish yourself. He did a really good job that first at bat to Rank, finishing him off. McDonald, he had an opportunity and then lost him. So he worked his way back into that count.
Jack Rydell at the plate now for Rice. Local product from here in Houston, and this Owls program plays high school ball at Memorial High School.
He's someone that Jose Cruz Jr., says is one of the leaders on the team. He and Manny Garza on the offensive side. Has decent power. Started slow last season, but blistered opposing pitching with a .379 clip over the final 23 games.
Well, McDonald thought about it when it got past Malcolm Moore just for the split second. Decided to stay put there at first base.
And that's one of those hair trigger things. If you're going to go, you need to go on that first move. There was that hesitation, so of course he'll stay at first. And a good job by Moore as he had to get behind him to get up quickly and corral that ball.
Rydell showing some power so far this year already with 3 home runs early in the year. That one's well struck in center field. The catch is made by Ethan Hott. They've got to hustle to get McDonald, and it gets past first baseman Jimmy Nada and nearly doubled him off. What a catch out there in center field.
Yeah, it was a 2-0 count to Rydell, and he's able to give a charge out in the right center gap. Hott was playing towards the left center gap and how he was shaded in center field, and we see a great defensive effort as he comes all the way the other side of the Rice R in center field, and see him leave his feet, make the catch, but also the presence of mind to get up quickly and make the throw. And if it wasn't for an all-turf field, he might have got him because it takes this big hop when it skips. And that's why you see Nadai trying to hold on to the bag for the force out.
Yeah, he'd already rounded second. He had to hustle back there. So 2 outs now, bottom of the first inning after that great play in the center field there. Diving catch by Ethan Hott. Stanford made the trip out yesterday, arriving here in Houston. Enough time to get in a workout under the lights last night. Got a lift in as well. Got to keep that routine going.
Yeah, I want to make sure the guys are staying in the same routine as much as possible, and also keeping their bodies active. So getting the lifts each of the last 2 days gets them prepared to be on the field.
Even the count 1-1 there. So Matt Scott, 0-2 coming in. ERA up there over 6, so chance to knock that down tonight with a good outing. 9 1/3 innings so far to start this season.
So as a freshman, he went 5-5 and had 62 strikeouts over 67 innings, 24 appearances and 12 starts. He's been their Friday starter here to begin this season. Still looking to try to establish himself as the ace of the rotation, as you mentioned his numbers to start the year, but a guy that has premier stuff. It was an 1-2 breaking ball, just didn't get on top of. You saw it coming out of his hand, left it high, and obviously it stayed there. Good job of Moore to come up out of his stance to grab it.
Nathan Becker's off to a nice start, 407 through 8 games for the Owls. Already 11 RBI on the season.
And he's someone that's really taken the step from last season. Batted 189 in 11 games, just 10 starts a season ago. Obviously off to a very hot start here in 2024.
Third season for Rice head coach Jose Cruz Jr. And McDonald on the move there. And another strikeout for Matt Scott. So 2 strikeouts here in the first inning. And the Owls leave 1 on. We are through 1 from Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford on top, 1-0. Top of the second inning, Stanford up on Rice, 1-0. Randy McAvoy, Kyle Rogers with you. Second inning of work for Parker Smith facing the Stanford Cardinal lineup. Luke Lavin will lead it off for Stanford. He is the designated hitter for the Cardinal. Take a look at some of his numbers on the year for Lavin. He's a freshman in this lineup, Kyle, hitting .250, making his 3rd start of the season, and he pokes it out there in center field. That drops in front of Kite McDonald, so the leadoff man is on base for Stanford to start the second inning.
A good job of Luke to stay within himself on that pitch, 1-0, and find something he can drive out to center field. Parker Smith gave up that 2-run home run, but was very economical with his pitch count. Just 14 pitches in that first inning. So a good job of Lavin to turn on the second pitch he sees here to begin the second.
This is Timo Becerra in the 6th hole tonight for Stanford. He's the starting 3rd baseman for the Cardinal. Becerra on the year, he's a junior hitting .241. A couple of RBIs. Squares up and pulls back on that one.
He's one of 3 members of the Cardinal baseball program to start at shortstop last season. Timo Becerra, he relieved Owen Cobb late in the season. Trevor Haskins, the everyday starting shortstop this year, battled a lot of injuries last year. He saw time there as well. Good job of Becerra making the transition to third base for them there in 2024.
Becerra squared up on that foul ball, so it's 2-1 now, with the leadoff man on base with the single by Luke Lavin. Brady Reynolds on deck. They're showing bunt again. That sails over the head of Becerra, and easily advancing to second base is Lavin now with no outs.
Yeah, frustration there for Parker Smith as that pitch obviously left his hand not where he wanted, and you see him, adjusting his toe on the rubber here of the all-turf field here at Reckling Park. It sailed to the backstop in the air, and so it was easy for Lavin to move up to second on that pitch. Now he's going to come back with a 3-1 count to Becerra.
Showed bunt again, pulled back, and Becerra will take the trot down to first base. So a walk given up, the first for Parker Smith tonight. So 2 runners on now, the first 2 here in the second inning with no outs.
Manny Garza walking things out, just talking things over Parker Smith. Those last 2 pitches didn't really look like the Parker Smith we saw prior to that. So maybe just either flustered a little bit or something not right with his mechanics coming off the mound. So they're going to talk things over as Parker Bangs in his second season as the pitching coach will make the stroll out there as well. But it was those last 2 pitches where he really looked off kilter from what we had seen in the early goings.
Well, the freshman Brady Reynolds getting ready to hit. They'll talk it over. With no outs, you got first and second. We'll see if Reynolds shows bunt here and tries to get him over.
Yeah, I mean, as you saw, Timo Becerra scored around 3 or 4 times in that at bat. And it clearly was giving Parker Smith an issue as he lost the strike zone. So if it's working for him, I don't see why they would change it here. And then Brady Reynolds, you talked about Lavin being a freshman. Brady Reynolds, another one. Both of them each getting their first starts for the Cardinal last weekend.
First pitch to Reynolds. Line drive right field. That's going to bring in Lavin. No play at the plate. A double for the freshman Reynolds. RBI comes in, and it's a 2-0 lead now for Stanford.
Yeah, so a wild pitch and a walk in the at-bat before you. A mound visit, so Parker Smith probably going to be coming over the plate with the fastball, trying to reestablish himself, and Brady Reynolds turns on it down that right field line. You see Dukes come up with the throw. It's off the mark, and that, of course, you see Lavin coming home. He didn't need to slide, but does, and a little added flair with the fist bump as he goes back into that third base dugout. They lead 2-0.
Our second and third now. Still nobody out here in the second inning. Ethan Hott at the plate now for Stanford, the number 8 hitter for the Cardinals. On the season, the sophomore hitting .300, making his 3rd start of the season. Just 10 at-bats entering tonight. Here's the 1-0, swing and a miss. Actually, just got a piece of that one. Owen Cobb on deck for Stanford. Stanford striking early here in this series opener at Reckling Park.
And just a quick note on that last ball put in play. It's ruled a single, and of course he advances to second on the throw in. So a RBI single, but the throw home is how Reynolds is able to move up as they have 2 in scoring position.
Swing and a miss and the strikeout. They needed that one from Parker Smith. And 1 out now. Still 2 on for Stanford on second and third. So Ethan Hott goes down on strikes.
He does a really good job of bouncing back. The walk and the RBI single. Then he comes right back to Hott. getting him for his second strikeout with the slider on the swing and miss stuff. It's one of his best pitches, but now to see him reestablishing the zone, you can start expanding it with your off speed as he did there for the second strikeout, the first out of this inning.
First pitch into Cobb, a called strike. Owen Cobb, second baseman. He's the lone senior in this lineup. We mentioned a very young lineup for the Cardinal. Cobb in the 9-hole hitting .278 on the year. Well struck left field. Brings in another run. Becerra crosses for the Cardinal. Brady Reynolds advances to third base. Runners on the corners now with one out. Another RBI single. And it's a 3-0 lead now for Stanford.
And Cobb very productive in that 9-hole. Jumping all over the 0-1 pitch, and you see it getting just past the outstretched glove of Rydell down the left field line to bring home Timo Becerra. They've got their first crooked inning, and obviously it's 3 straight. They lead 3-0.
Back to the top of the order now. Court McDonald. He led off the game with a strikeout. Four hits early on in this contest. Stanford pushed one across in the first inning, 2 so far here in the top of the second. See if Cobb is on the move.
Try to see if they're going to catch him leaning. He goes back in. Cobb was the opening day leadoff hitter for the Cardinal. He's hit 9th now in the last 3 games and been productive. 4 for 10 with 7 RBIs.
Count now even 1-1. Stanford coming in with back-to-back wins. Well, they wrapped up their homestand. Beat Penn State on Sunday 9-5, and then came back Monday against San Jose, which scored 9 more. All right, play down the second base, nothing there. Back home, and they get the runner, Brady Reynolds, for the big out. Royo back to Garza for out number 2 here in the second.
At 2-6-2 on the putout, we saw Cobb get about halfway between first and second trying to draw the throw. He does, and when he does, Reynolds sees if he can come home. But watch how quick we see Royo catches it. He looks, goes right into the throw with that momentum, and a throw right on the money to Mandy Garza, who applies the tag for the second out going into home plate.
Al's needed that one. On second base right now is Cobb with 2 outs, and at the plate still remains Court McDonald, the leadoff man for Stanford. Smith trying to pick off with Royo. McDonald entering tonight hitting .381 for that strikeout in the first inning. And one of 4 sophomores in the lineup tonight. Here's the 1-2. Just missed, evens the count 2-2 now.
And you saw McDonald nodding his head, recognizing he was out of the zone and pleased with himself in getting the call to even this count.
Sure, he's got some family and friends in the crowd tonight. He's a Texas product from Arlington, Texas. Played his high school ball at Pantego Christian Academy there in Arlington.
The call to even this count.
Sure, he's got some family and friends in the crowd tonight. He's a Texas product from Arlington, Texas. Played his high school ball at Pantego Christian Academy there in Arlington. Just 4 at-bats last year. But a guy that they're counting on for this season. Here's the 2-2 coming up from Parker Smith. Donald just got a piece of that one.
So it was 1-2, 2-2, and obviously fouling off the pitch to extend the account here. But Parker Smith trying to see if he can win the battle. Got some momentum back on his side with that caught stealing at home plate. Now seeing if he can get out of this inning with no further damage done.
Two-two, swung on, ground ball down to first base, handled cleanly there by Max Johnson. And the Rice Owls and Parker Smith get out of it, but not before Stanford pushed 2 more across. They now lead it 3-0 here at Reckling Park in Houston as we head to the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford on top 3-0 over the Owls. Matt Scott out there now for his second inning of work against this Owls lineup. And he will begin with the middle of the order. The number 5 hitter, the catcher Manny Garza, will lead it off for Rice. On the season, Garza hitting .345. Home run, 8 RBI so far through the first 8 games. He started 7 of the 8. This is his 8th start now.
Scott looked really good in that first inning. He worked around a walk, but recorded 2 strikeouts and facing just 1 over the minimum in his 3rd start.
Last season when they faced Stanford, Garza went 3 for 10 against the Cardinal pitching staff in 3 games. Had 3 multi-RBI games already this season. And has hit very well here at Reckling Park in his career. Feels right at home here, hitting .327.
He's also one of the toughest Owls to strike out. Last season was 1 per 8.17 at bats. Good job defensively behind the plate. Good job offensively at the plate with how he manages that strike zone.
I think that catcher position can be underrated at times. There's so much involved with getting on the same page with the staff, learning their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, it's not just how obviously you manage the game itself and relaying signs in, but it's how you manage each pitcher. Each pitcher's different. You know, when you go out to the mound as a catcher to talk things over, some guys might need you to light them up. Someone might need you to talk to them soft, bring them back, calm them down, or amp them up. It's a different thing, and it's a great job for Manny Garza, who Jose Cruz Jr. says is one of their leaders on the team, to be able to balance that tight wire act as the catcher.
There's the 2-2. Third base umpire Gary Johnson says he held up. 3-2 count now on Manny Garza. It was lead it off for Rice.
It was an off-speed pitch from Scott that he buried, and Manny Garza recognizing it late, but doing a good job at holding up that swing just enough for the payoff pitch here.
Fouled off left side to keep it alive here for Garza. It'll be Manny Garza, Pierce Gallo, and Ben Dukes. First 3 here in the second inning for the Rice Owls. Swing and a miss. Garza down on strikes.
That's already the 3rd we have seen from Matt Scott in the first 4 outs of him being out there on the mound here under the lights at Reckling Park. And he won the battle there to Garza. Garza did a really good job the previous 2 pitches, laying off one and then fouling one just beyond the left field foul line to keep that bat alive. But Manny Garza, unfortunately, goes down as the third strikeout victim to Matt Scott.
Second baseman Pierce Gallo at the plate now for Rice. The junior hitting 133, so off to a slow start. Just 4 for his first 30 to begin this season. There's a ground ball to shortstop. Fielded cleanly by Trevor Haskins over to Jimmy Nadai. And that is out number 2 here in the second inning.
And sometimes when you're off to a slow start, you try to be aggressive at the plate, and that's exactly what he does right there, jumping all over the first pitch. Unfortunately, he's able to turn it into a 6-3 putout. So his offensive woes, he just hasn't gotten off to the strong start for a guy that hit 284 last season for them. So he tied for the team lead last year with 58 hits. Just hasn't had the hits come to him here in the early goings of 2024.
Ben Dukes at the plate for Rice now. Dukes getting the start in right field for the Owls. On a career best 5-game hitting streak right now, coming into this one tonight. Now found his home there in the outfield for Jose Cruz Jr. Dukes has started 11 of his last 15 in the outfield dating back to last season.
He's appeared in small spurts throughout his career. As a freshman, he's most productive as a pinch hitter. And as a sophomore, made just 5 starts, appearing 11 games. Even last year, appearing in 9 games, making 8 starts before being the everyday man here as a senior.
There's a 3-0 called strike.
And that was a true take all the way. We've seen Matt Scott be very efficient, so finding him behind Dukes, making sure he comes over the plate with something. Obviously, there's a green light. If it's your pitch, go for it. That one wasn't there, and he looked at it for strike 1.
Full count now on Ben Dukes. 3 strikeouts already for Matt Scott, big right-hander for the Stanford Cardinal. Here's the 3-2. And down goes Dukes. Another strikeout, the 4th for Matt Scott. He is off to a very nice start here at Reckling Park. And we are through 2 innings here in Houston. Stanford in control. They scored early in the first and second innings. They lead Rice 3-0. We go to the third. Went on to the World Series.
David Esker, in his 7th season at Stanford, was the head coach there in that time. He spent 18 seasons at Cal, and as you mentioned, they went into that year hearing baseball was going to be dropped, obviously in the postseason, trying to see what they could do to keep their year alive. After losing the first game, they made a great run to come out of the Houston Regional, went on to win the Super Regional, advance to the College World Series, and along the way, they raised enough monies from former players like Jeff Kent and others stepping up to save the program.
I mean, that's just a great story. Down to the final strike, thinking it was going to end. And then David Esker, a big part of that, and now he is leading the way here at Stanford.
And you talk to some of the people here at Rice, they remember it well. And even though Cal eliminated Rice, it was stories like that and obviously the emotion of that Cal Bears team with what they were facing that made it all the worthwhile. And you talk to several here at Reckling Park, they say it was one of the most meaningful games not involving Rice that they've been a part of here at Reckling Park.
Well, it's nice to turn back the clock a little bit. Great moments right here at Reckling Park throughout the years and regular and postseason play. Nadai had that liner to right field for out number 1. This is Malcolm Moore now at the plate. And if you're just tuning in, Malcolm Moore homered in his first at-bat off of Parker Smith. Carried well deep in the left field in that corner and managed to leave the ballpark for a solo home run.
And this was a guy, preseason All-American, big things expected of him, off to a slow start, but able to take a 2-0 pitch the other way just beyond that left field foul pole. At another 2-0 count here, looks at strike 1.
Well, rough start for Parker Smith. 3 runs and 4 hits allowed so far in these first couple of innings. Trying to find his stride here, perhaps in this 3rd inning. Swung on by Moore. That's going to hold up there in center field. Kite McDonald underneath that one. And it's 2 quick outs here in the 3rd inning for Parker Smith.
And this is what you want to see from Parker Smith for the Owls, him bouncing back and turning the page. You know, baseball is a short-term memory sport. You can't let what happened the previous inning go back out with you. So he got tagged for 2 runs in the second. Part of his second and third runs he's allowed, but he's done a really good job of attacking the Cardinal lineup here the second time through to get 2 quick outs.
Trevor Haskins, the shortstop, at the plate. Had a ground ball out to second base back in the first inning. Haskins on the year hitting .276, starting his 8th game of the season here for Stanford.
Haskins battled injuries all of last season, but was slated to be the everyday shortstop entering 2024. He had .364 a season ago with some nice power, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and an 11-game stint in the Cape Cod League over the summer. But he looks there as we see a great job of Parker Smith getting his first 3-up, 3-down frame and adding a strikeout for his 3rd time here as we close the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, 3 Ks now for Parker Smith. That's the kind of inning he's been waiting for. Hopefully he'll try to build off of that. Go to the bottom of the 3rd here at Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford on top of Rice, 3-0. Bottom of the 3rd here at Reckling Park in Houston. Randy McAvoy, Kyle Rogers with you. Good start for Stanford. And starting pitcher Matt Scott so far has yet to give up a hit to this Rice Owls lineup. Also has 4 strikeouts on the night. And he will start it off against the number 8 hitter, Ben Royo, the starting shortstop for Rice. Royo on this season. Slow start at the plate for the sophomore, hitting .208, but he started the year 0 for 9, but starting to regain that stroke a little bit, Kyle. Has hit in 4 of his last 5 after snapping that 0 for 9 start to the year.
And that's what you want to look. You want to take every game, you know, 1 at bat at a time, 1 game at a time, 1 week at a time. And so if you can put together a good performance on a given night and then have that, you look up at the end of the season, you have a good batting average. Same thing goes with results on the field. Your goal is to win the next game. That's always your most important. But you're trying to always go 3-1 or 4-0 in a week. And if you can have those 3-1, 4-0 records each week to week, you look at the end of the season and you've had a great season.
Starts adding up, no doubt about it. There's Royo. Good shot of Royo. Not a big guy, right?
No.
But you look at his numbers last year. 13 home runs last year for Royo.
Yeah, tied Jose Cruz Jr. for that production as a freshman. He actually added 20 pounds of muscle this offseason.
Fly ball right field. That'll hang up there for Brady Reynolds, who snags that one for out number 1. So 1 out here in the 3rd inning. Brings up the number 9 hitter. It's going to be Max Johnson, the starting first baseman tonight for Rice. Still looking for his first hit of the season. It's began the year 0 for 12 at the plate.
He's also looking for his first hit against the Cardinal, 0 for 7 and 2 starts against them last season as well. But this is someone that they're hoping to have big things here in 2024.
Dealt with an injury last year, kind of the latter part of March, and wasn't able to return until early May. Missing that kind of time, you lose your timing at the plate. A lot of things, you almost have to push that reset button when you come back.
It's really tough on your timing as a hitter, but also when you look at where he played on the season, 13 starts at short, 9 in left field, 7 at third base, 1 at second base. He bounced all around last year, but he was productive where he could be, especially in, looking at pitches. He was second on the team with 17 walks when he was injured. So we look at that foul ball, it goes off the mask of Moore, and this is this unspoken relationship between a home plate umpire and a catcher. Watch, you see it hit off the mask, and so Matthew Martinez, the home plate umpire, calls time, obviously, on the foul ball, but he purposefully slow walks the new ball out to the mound to buy some time for the catcher. And the same thing goes the other way. Had Martinez taken a foul ball, Moore, the catcher, would have gone out to the mound too, just giving each other, some extra time.
A little bit, absolutely. Kind of that unwritten rule, protect each other a little bit. Matt Scott, the 1-2, swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Scott. And that is number 5 so far here through 2 2/3 innings of work for Scott.
Yeah, all 5 have been swinging too. He's been doing a really good job of mixing up the hard fastball with the slider and that splitter as part of a 3-pitch mix. If we take one more look at this one, obviously you see it's that slider. He does a great job of just starting on the outside, and you see that little movement bringing Max Johnson down to a knee as he is, as you mentioned, 5th strikeout victim and the 2nd out here in this inning.
Back to the top of the order for Trayton Rake. Getting the start tonight in left field for Rice. Played right field Wednesday night against LSU. Rank entering tonight. Slow out of the gates at the plate as well, hitting 143. Now down to 138 after he struck out in the first inning. You look at some of these numbers, and I was talking to Jose Cruz Jr. before the LSU game on Wednesday, and he actually says, I feel pretty good about our pitching staff. He says he really does. He said the bats were confident that these guys can get to the point where they believe they can have success in the box.
Well, and this is all about the culture he's been trying to build here on South Main.
Ground ball shortstop, Haskins. Over to Jimmy Nadai, and that'll do it here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Another quick work inning for Matt Scott. And we go to the 4th inning here at Recklink Park in Houston. Stanford Cardinal up 3-0 over Rice. Top of the 4th inning here at Recklink Park. Stanford leading Rice 3-0. Parker Smith. Rough couple of first innings there. He gave up a run in the first, 2 in the second, but that was a nice 3rd inning. Trying to build off of that against this Stanford lineup.
Yeah, really good job of turning the page on the 2nd time through the lineup. A 3-up, 3-down frame, a line out, a fly out, a strikeout on just 10 pitches thrown.
Luke Lavin will lead it off. He is the designated hitter. He had a single. Also wound up scoring in that 2nd inning. He was on the base path there and advanced on a wild pitch that set up an RBI double by Brady Reynolds. Three runs, 4 hits so far for Stanford against Parker Smith. Swung on, line drive center field. That'll fall for a base hit. And hit number 5 for the Cardinal tonight. Luke Lavin now 2 for 2 on the night.
Both drives going out to center field, and for a freshman getting his first starts in week 2 of the season, seems like he's found a stroke here in the early goings of his Cardinal career. Both times we've seen him, he's done exactly that, driving a pitch right back up the middle into shallow center field for a base hit. Both times leading off the inning as well. It's a good tone setter here in the middle of the lineup.
Leadoff man is on. Timo Becerra at the plate now for Stanford. Becerra walked in the 2nd inning and wound up scoring on an RBI from Owen Cobb. Joe's bunt takes the strike. This is the count 1-1.
This is the same thing we saw him do last time, where he was scoring around early and often in his walk that he drew in the 2nd. So far 2 pitches. We've seen that square. Let's see if he does again on the 3rd pitch.
Lavin on first. No steal attempts by Lavin so far this year. Not sure what kind of speed he's got.
Say his lead wasn't that big, but obviously Parker Smith, attentive to him over there on first base.
One. Lays the bunt down, fielded by Parker Smith. He'll quickly get it over to first for the out, but the sacrifice bunt as planned. Lavin now at second base with 1 out.
Becerra, we saw square around on the first and ended up drawing the walk as pitches were out of the zone from Parker Smith. Now here in his second time facing Becerra, we see Becerra lay down that bunt on the right side of the infield. And Parker Smith, the second time we've seen him do a great job coming off the mound, fielding his position, and turning and getting a ball over to Max Johnson at first for the out.
Well, the freshman Brady Reynolds now at the plate. He doubled in his first at-bat. Well hit ball down the right field line. Another line drive to center. That's going to hang up there for Kite McDonald. He'll fire in, and Lavin stays put at second base.
Good job, McDonald, being aware of a runner on second as he caught that ball in deep center field and got it in very quickly to make sure that there wasn't an extra 90 feet taken in scoring position.
So it's up to Ethan Hott here with 2 outs. The number 8 hitter for Stanford. Struck out in his first at-bat. Parker Smith on the night has 3 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. If I can get on, Owen Cobb on deck for the Cardinal.
You see the tempo of Parker Smith here quickening a little bit here in the 4th inning. See the pitch clock, the scoreboard out in right field counting down. We've seen him come home every time here in the last couple pitches, about 8 seconds left.
Here's the 2-0. Swung on, ground ball, third base. Rydell fires over to Max Johnson, and that'll do it. Out number 3 here in the 4th inning. So Stanford leads 1 on, and through 3.5, Cardinals on top of Rice, 3-0 here at Reckling Park in Houston. Bottom of the 4th inning here at Reckling Park, 3-0 lead for Stanford. Randy McAvoy, Kyle Rogers with you. Rice, Kyle, trying to get this offense going so far. Not much at all against Stanford starter Matt Scott. He's off to a nice start tonight.
Yeah, done a really good job through the first time through, +1. He's faced just 1 over as we now see the 2-hole come up here to begin the bottom of the 4th, but 5 strikeouts in the early going. So faced just 1 over the minimum through 3 innings.
Kite McDonald will lead it off for Rice, the senior center fielder, entered tonight hitting .258. And he walked in his first at-bat back into the 1st inning. Trying to get something started against Matt Scott here at Reckling Park. McDonald, a grad transfer from Wichita State. On a 4-game hitting streak right now as he enters tonight's game against Stanford. Already 2 home runs this year for McDonald, Kyle. That matches what he did last year, so he's off to a nice start in the power side of things.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, especially in addition to your program, someone coming in and having that offense production. So only 2 home runs last year with the Shockers, 2 in the early goings with the Owls.
Two-two count here to start things off in the bottom of the 4th inning. Donald gets it to a full count now. On deck is Jack Rydell. Nathan Becker, the designated hitter, will follow Rydell. Here's the 3-2.
We've seen Matt Scott light up the gun. It sits 96 to 97, but can run up there as high as 98 at times when he puts some extra oomph on it. And we've seen a good job here of Kite McDonald battling here in this at-bat, spoiling off that last pitch in the high 90s as well.
Talk about the offense struggling a little bit of late for Rice, despite a series win there. And a called third strike on Kite McDonald, and that is strikeout number 6 for Matt Scott tonight.
Yeah, some frustration there from McDonald as he looked at the pitch away, and you can see, watch here as he looks it in, sees if that painted the black, and you see just that quick little head nod, some frustration with himself as he looked at strike three. But a good job of Matt Scott painting the corner and hitting a spot to his battery mate and more behind the plate.
There's Jack Rydell, lined out to center field in his first at-bat in the first inning. Now, we were talking about the offense struggling in the last week or so. They had the series win, which is outstanding, on the road at Louisiana. And they won 2-1 and 6-1. Then they were shut out in the finale 3-0. And then outscored 16-4 by LSU on Wednesday. So trying to get those bats going again as they get a little bit deeper into this first stretch of the season.
And it's been an interesting first 2 weeks of the season here. They had a winless opening weekend against Notre Dame. They did what they needed to do to find a win at Reckling Park against Sam Houston. They parlayed that, into the 2-1 series win at Louisiana as part of a 3-1 week. But then this week especially, you look at the opponents, and it was a very tall task welcoming the defending national champion and number 2 LSU. And now this series against Stanford has been Omaha the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, very consistent program there at Stanford. I were talking about their incredible program numbers. It's one of the elite programs across the country. And of course, head coach David Esker has been a part of that. Played at Stanford, part of the 1987 national championship team, now on the staff. Continue that tradition here.
Pac-12 Coach of the Year a season ago, also the year before that. He's won that honor 4 times. 2001 he won it at Cal, then he got it at Stanford here in 2018, 2022, and then last year. It's fair to say no program in the country has had a better 3-year run than Stanford. While they haven't had the success in Omaha, 3 straight trips is a rare feat.
Says a lot, no doubt about it. You think of all those trips to Omaha, ground ball by Rydell over to third. They got to hurry, they got it. Becerra over to Natsai, and out number 2 here in the 4th inning. No, you're talking about the success and consistency of a program. They've only won 2 national titles, 87 and 88. They had the back-to-back there, but 19 trips to College World Series. That's saying a lot. That is tough to accomplish, and they're looking to hopefully get back. But this is a young team, but that needs to grow up during the course of conference play here coming up.
Yeah, their path back to Omaha will be interesting. It's going to be a different story in 2024. There's still some figuring out to do. It's going to be more murky with the underclassmen. Freshman class need to step up. Some of the guys that are back will have to have expanded roles. But it's going to be different when you look at everything they lost from last season's team. Pac-12 Hitter of the Year, Pac-12 Player of the Year, several guys taken in the draft, a few guys lost to the portal.
Yeah, some key pieces now out of the program, and time for the young guys to step up. But they recruit at a very elite level. They've got some great players. Young players have to get some experience. And same on Rice's side as well with some of the young players they've got.
And you just look at the numbers. They returned a third of their at-bats from last season, 27 of the team's 117 home runs, and just 30% of their innings pitched.
Swing and a miss and another strikeout. That's the second strikeout for Becker tonight, and that is number 7 for Stanford starter Matt Scott. What a night he is having here. A 3-0 lead through 4 innings here at Reckling Park. Cardinals in control 3-0. Starts the 5th inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. 3-0 lead for Stanford. Stanford 3 runs, 5 hits so far tonight. And they will lead off the 5th inning. This is the number 9 hitter, Owen Cobb, the starting second baseman. First at bat of the game, he singled back in the 2nd inning off of Parker Smith.
And Parker Smith's looked really good this second time through the lineup. Just 1 base hit allowed. So we now face the 9-hole hitter. Last 2 innings each, just 10 pitches, and a 3-3 down third, and a 1 over the minimum faced in the 4th. So Good job of turning the page after 3 runs through those first 2 innings.
Yeah, good recovery by Parker Smith. He just needs a little help from the Rice bats. They hope to get something going in the bottom half of the 5th inning against Matt Scott. But so far, Scott's been dominating again with 7 strikeouts. And he's yet to allow a hit so far.
Yeah, we saw the energy coming off the mound after the strikeout to Nathan Becker to close the 4th inning. He's definitely in a groove.
2-2 count now. The leadoff man, Owen Cobb. Court McDonald will be on deck here for the Cardinals. Cobb hitting .297. Chases that one, and the strikeout there for Parker Smith. And that is strikeout number 4 for the Owls right-hander.
And a good job for him just to continue the momentum he's had since getting that final out of the 2nd inning. Take one more look. Obviously, you see the off-speed pitch. He sets it up away. It continues, and it draws the chase on the sweeping slider for that first out.
Back to the top of the order. Court McDonald for the Stanford Cardinals, hitting .348. Homer, 3 RBIs on the season. Sophomore from Arlington, Texas. Mentioned earlier that there's some family and friends are in, and they're just watching McDonald drill that one into left field for the base hit. He's now 1 for 3 tonight.
So it also moves his hitting streak up to 8 on the season. So for nothing to show his first true trips to the plate, to begin the 3rd time through, we see him singling on the 1-0 pitch.
Jimmy Nadai, the first baseman at the plate. That one over the outstretched arm of Rydell at third base to the corner. McDonald races to third, a stand-up double for Nadai. And with 1 out, Cardinals threatening again with 2 on.
Nadai has now hit safely in all 9 games of the season. He had 5 multi-hit games through so far, and now obviously collecting his first hit, but he's doing a really good job with the numbers we've seen in his production. That is his 5th double. We take one more look. Good job just putting it, over the head of Rydell and shooting that ball down the corner here at Reckling Park to put 2 in scoring position.
Malcolm Moore down to first base to load him up now with 1 out. So the Owls try to get out of this one here in the 5th inning.
I beg your pardon, that's his 6th double of the season, but that is now his 5th in the last 6 games.
Cleanup hitter Trevor Haskins now with the bases loaded. Hitting .258, couple of RBI this season. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Swung on, well struck right field. Ben Dukes underneath that one. But McDonald will tag and score from third base. And the Cardinals push their lead to 4-0 over the Owls.
A good job just driving that first pitch, obviously doing the job with the ball the other way. Run comes home easily to make it 4-0 Stanford. So Haskins, it was 0-1 as we take one more look at it. Just lifts this pitch. It's actually struck pretty well out to right field. Dukes, you see ranging almost to the warning track, the catch and the turn and throw home. But he goes in for the slide for the extra flare. He was going to score standing up as they've now plated 4 here in this ballgame.
Luke Lavin now, 2 for 2 on the night, the designated hitter for the Cardinals. Ground ball second base. Gallo picks and fires over to Max Johnson for out number 3 here in the 5th inning. But again, Stanford pushes one across, another run in, and they extend their lead now 4-0 through 4.5 here at Reckling Park in Houston. Cardinals on top of the Owls. Bottom of the fifth inning here at Reckling Park. Randy McElroy, Kyle Rogers, 4-0 lead for Stanford now. As Matt Scott continues his great night here. Fans of all ages checking out some baseball. Great weather night, by the way. Really windy. You and I were here Wednesday for that LSU game, Kyle. It was 20-plus gust winds out here that played a factor in a lot of the plays, but not so much the problem tonight at all, but warmed up a little bit as well.
Yeah, against LSU, we saw some balls lost in the light with how it was being pushed across the field. We saw routine fly balls become a little more adventurous on a few plays. And then here tonight, hasn't been much of a wind, but obviously a great night here on the corner of South Main. Stanford, though, has been in charge to this point, largely behind the hand of Matt Scott for 4 innings, a walk, and 7 strikeouts across 13 batters faced. He's faced just 1 over the minimum to this point.
All right, Al's looking to get something going here. Still hitless here in the 5th inning. Garza, first pitch, lofts that one up to center field, out to Ethan Hott, and quickly out number 1 here in the 5th inning.
So, Scott, we mentioned being in a groove, just filling up the strike zone here. They're already offensively halfway through their third time through lineup. Meanwhile, the Owls halfway through just their second time through.
Brings up Pierce Gallo, starting second baseman for the Rice Owls. Gallo 0 for 1. Got a ground ball out to shortstop back in the second inning. Hitting 129 to start his season. Matt Scott just facing 1 over the minimum so far tonight. Has that 1 walk back in the first inning. So far, 7 strikeouts on the night for the 6'7" Stanford right-hander.
Yeah, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and then 2 in the fourth. And that last one to Nathan Becker, we saw a lot of emotion from Matt Scott as he was walking back in that third base dugout.
First of 3 between Rice and Stanford this weekend. We'll be back out here 4:30 Central Time tomorrow. And an afternoon ball game coming up on Sunday in the series finale. Sunday's game starts at 1 o'clock. And then Rice will be back home, Kyle, Tuesday against Prairie View. And then Wednesday morning, they're on a plane to Hawaii. They're going to Hawaii for a, I believe, 4-game series against Hawaii over a 5-day period.
Yeah, obviously, you know, the student-athlete experience is a big thing for Jose Cruz Jr., and so the tough quality competition coming in at home, and then obviously looking at where they can take his team on the road, and 4 games in Hawaii await next week as we see another strikeout, this one to Pierce Gallo, the 8th strikeout out of the hand of Matt Scott. He's just all business out there, too.
It's the second strikeout looking for Matt Scott so far tonight. The other 6 have been swinging. Rice still looking for that first hit. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Ben Dukes at the plate now. Dukes struck out swinging in his first at-bat in the second inning. Dukes hitting .217 on the year. And the season with a career-best 5-game hitting streak to start the year. Hit the ball well here at Reckling Park. Good home hitter last year. Hit .348 in the 7 games that he played here at home.
That was the most production you've seen. Set career highs in hits, doubles, and starts. Been the everyday man here so far in 2024, and now finds himself in a great 3-0 hole. A rare time we have seen Matt Scott be behind in the count.
Here's the 3-0. That's called strike. Matt Scott is locked in tonight. Right. So a runner on now for Rice with 2 outs brings up Ben Royo, the shortstop.
Yeah, both walks have been their only offensive production to this point against Matt Scott. Now here with 2 outs to see if Royo can see what he can do to get things going. We were talking about him in his first plate appearance, those 13 home runs to match head coach Jose Cruz Jr. for the 3rd most home runs by a freshman in school history. But then over the offseason, he added 20 pounds, and even though he doesn't look it in the box, this is a guy that's stronger than he was a season ago. His home run total last year was 3rd nationally among freshman shortstops, with 8 of those coming on the road. He did not homer in the first 9 games, been hit 13 over 31 games before being shut down across the last 9 games last season. See Moore going out to talk things over with Scott. 5 of the last 6 pitches have been out of the zone, so just going to talk things over with his sophomore pitcher. Get him to take a breath out there. We talked about he's been all business to this point, and you see right there he hasn't shown any emotion except for the strikeout as we saw as he was walking back into the dugout on the 4th. He has been nails out there for the Cardinal tonight in his 3rd start of the early goings of his sophomore campaign, the 16th total start of his young career.
Yeah, I don't have a pitch count total, but he has worked it well tonight. Get the pitch count fairly low, I would imagine. There it is, 76. Well, higher than I actually thought it would be at this point for him. He's been so efficient.
He's done a really good job of just filling up the strike zone, though. You see the 76 pitches to start the at-bat, 46 of those for strikes.
1-1 now on Ben Royo. Swing and miss by Royo, so he's in a hole 1-2 now. 2 outs here, bottom of the 5th inning. Flags are not moving very much at all there in left center field.
Yeah, very different than what we saw them doing Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, totally different. 20 to 25 mile an hour gust on Wednesday against LSU. And a called strike 3 on Royo. So 2 more strikeouts, both looking here in the 5th inning. And that is 9 strikeouts now for the big Stanford right-hander Matt Scott. Through 5 here at Reckley Park. Stanford on top 4-0. Start to the 6th inning here at Reckley Park. It's been all Stanford so far in this series opener, leading the Rice Owls 4-0. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Cardinals. Still Rice hitless through 5 innings. Leadoff man against Parker Smith is Max Johnson. I'm sorry, is Timo Becerra. My bad on that. Out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
We saw him jump all over that very first pitch he saw from Parker Smith. And Gallo, second baseman for the Owls, doing a great job ranging over down that right field line just behind first base to glove it for the first out.
Out number 1 here in the 6th inning for Parker Smith brings up Brady Reynolds now, the freshman. He's had a double in the 2nd inning and then lined out hard to center field in the 4th for well-struck balls in his 2 at-bats. Hitting .417 early in this year. 1 homer and 6 RBI for Reynolds. Actually singled in that 2nd inning hit. He just advanced on a throw to second base. Getting the start here tonight.
He was that second out on that, they tried to do a delayed steal.
Yep.
Owen Cobb, slowly moving about halfway between first and second to draw the throw, but a great job of Garza to Royo, and then Royo with the quick relay back home to catch him stealing as he tried to do a delayed steal home.
Call strike 3 on Reynolds. So Parker Smith starting to settle in. He gave up that 1 run back in the 5th inning after that rough first and second, but he's starting to string it being consistent out there for Rice tonight.
As we take one more look at it, you see just running the fastball in the inside corner right around the knees and drawing the look for the backwards K. Parker Smith retired 7 of 8 after getting the final out of the 2nd through the 4th inning before they were finally able to get to him in the 5th for that 1 run, just some extra base hits. But when you looked at his pitch total and still being low, he only threw 7 pitches in that 5th inning. He had a 5-pitch strikeout to Owen Cobb. McDonald's single was on 1-0.
Ground ball shortstop, Royo over to first base. Overthrows there Max Johnson, who gave it a go. So the runner will advance. Ethan Hott to second base on the error by Ben Royo.
Yeah, rare mistake we've seen from Royo in that ball, of course, getting out of play, which is why he's awarded second base. We take one more look at this throw from Royo. You see the hard chopper gets to him on that 3rd hop. He does a great job of setting his feet, but unfortunately the throw is just way high as we see Johnson come out. It goes into the camera well, and so that's how they have a runner standing on second with 2 outs. But quickly to finish the note on Parker Smith's line, it was a 1-0 single to McDonald, a double on the first pitch from Nadi, an intentional walk to Moore, and then the sac fly from Haskins on 0-1 before a ground out to Luke Levine on the first pitch of the next at-bat.
Two outs here in the 6th inning. Ethan Hott on second base for Stanford. Number 9 hitter Owen Cobb at the plate. Struck out swinging his last at-bat. Singled back in the 2nd inning. A little bit of activity down in the Rice bullpen now. Here's a 2-0 coming up to Cobb. Approaching the 80 pitch count now. See how much longer get out of this with 2 outs. It'd be nice to get the out and get through this inning.
Yeah, we saw Tom Vincent down in the bullpen getting loose.
Leadoff man Court McDonald on deck for Stanford now. Owen Cobb with an RBI opportunity here in a 3-0 count against Parker Smith. That one's high, and he will take the trot down to first base.
So when you're down on the count as he was, the walk there isn't the worst thing, and so we went with the high fastball, but just didn't finish the pitch. And it sailed a little higher than they probably were intending, but they didn't want to come too over the plate to Owen Cobb, and that's going to force a mound visit here by the Owls with 2 on and 2 out. So for the 2nd time tonight, we see Parker Bangs, the pitching coach, take the walk out there. Jose Cruz Jr. bragging about him, said he's a great development plan for plays of guys hitting their peaks and delows and movement pattern as they were preparing for this season. He also calls the game from that first base dugout. And last year, guiding Rice hurlers, Parker Smith, as we see throwing tonight, earned a consensus All-CUSA honors and an invitation to the baseball collegiate national team. Also had several guys drafted last season, giving the Owls 3 drafted pitchers for the first time since 2019 as we get a look at some light tosses being thrown in that Owl bullpen. He joined Jose Cruz Jr. after spending 3 seasons prior at Davidson, where he was there for 4 seasons. After 3 seasons at Presbyterian College, we see him walk back into that first base dugout. So Parker Smith looks like he is ready to resume.
Well, 2 outs, 2 runners on for Stanford. Top of the order, Court McDonald at the plate for the Cardinal. Singled in his last at-bat. There's another one right up the middle. Another single. A run's going to come in for Stanford. That is Ethan Hott crossing. Cobb goes to third base. Runners on the corners now after the RBI single from Court McDonald.
And just jumping all over that very first pitch. Take one more look. You see, just it's a fastball, and he's able to just shoot it right back up the middle, past the diving glove of Arroyo into center field. McDonald comes up throwing to third, but it'll be runners at score in the corner situation with 2 outs and another run added as they have staked themselves out to a 5-run lead.
5 runs, 8 hits for Stanford now. Still 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Jimmy Natai at the plate. He doubled his last at-bat in the 5th inning. Well-struck ball to left field. First pitch to Natai. Way up there. Rydell's going to be underneath that, and that is out number 3. But again, Stanford, for the 2nd straight inning, pushes a run across. And the Cardinals still in control. 5-0. Through 5.5 here at Reckling Park in Houston. They lead the house. Back here at Reckling Park, one of the storylines tonight has been the job, Kyle, from Matt Scott. What a night he's had.
As you see, 9 strikeouts to this point. He's looked really good in shutting Rice down. Just 2 walks, and that's all the traffic on the base paths. And you see the motion from Matt Scott. His line through 5 innings, no hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts on 80 pitches. Thrown 49 strikes, so sitting at 61% strikes tonight as he's back out there for the 6th inning.
He'll face the number 9 hitter in the Rice lineup, Max Johnson. Johnson still looking for his first hit of this new season.
So easily the best start for Scott here in 2024. 2 starts this season. He went 5 1/3 innings. He's approaching that with the next out he gets, as tying his longest outing of the season against Cal State Fullerton. 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned with 1 walk and 9 strikeouts, which he is tied tonight. And then last weekend against Penn State, 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all of those earned with 5 walks and 7 strikeouts.
Leadoff man Trayton Rank on deck for Rice. Swing and a miss. Full arsenal tonight from Matt Scott. Fun to watch everything come together for the big right-hander. But Rice looking to get something going off of it.
Yeah, he has struck out every single Rice hitter except for Jack Rydell in the 3-hole.
Here's the 0-2. This is at-bat number 14 on the year for Max Johnson. Henry United played in 5 of the 8 games. Called strike 3 on Johnson. And Matt Scott now double digits in the strikeout category. That's number 10.
Yeah, that's his 4th one looking. Max Johnson not happy with that call as we take one more look at it. But this guy has been grooving all night, maybe getting some help from Moore behind the plate with the frame. But the off-speed draws the look. It's strike 3, and it is a season-high 10 strikeouts for Matt Scott in his 3rd start of the season.
1 out here in the 6th inning. Back to the top of the order for Rice. This is Trayton Rank. He struck out swinging in the 1st and grounded out to the shortstop in his 2nd at-bat back in the 3rd inning. Kite McDonald on deck for Rice. A 5-0 lead for Stanford. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Cardinals tonight. Just tuning in, Stanford jumped out to a 3-0 lead. They had a run in the 1st inning and then pushed across 2 more in the 2nd. Single runs in the 5th and 6th. Quickly, 0-2 on Trayton Rank.
And Matt Scott's just in the groove. Fastball right there misses way upstairs, but you've seen him do a great job of changing the eyes of the Owls hitters tonight. In, down, up, hard, soft. He's had it all working.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and strike 3 again. Number 11 now on the night for Matt Scott. just making it look easy tonight against this Owls lineup.
Yeah, it's a new career high. He's done a great job of besting his previous, which was 9 against the opening time we saw him this season. If you take one more look, that slider just so nasty, dropping it in.
So 2 outs here in the 6th. Up to Kite McDonald to get something going for Rice. He walked in the first inning and then struck out looking in the 4th. One of the 11 strikeout victims tonight for Matt Scott.
It was 9 strikeouts to Fullerton on opening weekend.
Great control tonight for Scott. Just 2 walks. Had a walk in the first inning, then a walk again in the 5th.
Those have really been the only times we've seen him falling behind in the count, as he has another Rice hitter down on strikes, deep in a hole at 0-2. Time and time again, he's been attacking them with first pitch strikes, and when he's fallen behind, rarely, but he's been able to get back of it except those 2 walks. Tipped right into the glove.
Down goes another Owl. Kite McDonald will end it here in the 6th inning. 12 strikeouts for Matt Scott. It has been all Stanford so far tonight. We're through 6 innings at Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford leading Rice 5-0. Stanford leading Rice 5-0 here as we go to the 7th inning here at Reckling Park. Pitching change now for the Rice Owls. Tom Vincent, the left-hander, now in. Kyle.
This is a guy that brings veteran experience for them. He's 6'3", junior out of Houston, Texas. So he's expected to be someone they can count on. He, Mauricio Rodriguez, and Reed Gallant, those part of those veteran arms for them here in this season. So his numbers on the year. Making his 3rd appearance, he's got he's got no ERA, a 1.2 WHIP across an inning and 2/3, 2 walks, 1 run. It was unearned.
Lefty on lefty here as he faces Malcolm Moore to begin the 7th inning. Moore had that solo home run back in the 1st inning off of Parker Smith. Since then, he's flown out to center field, actually a line shot to center, and then walked back in the 5th inning.
Last season, Vincent was 3rd on the team with 6 starts among his 18 appearances.
The Malcolm Moore, Trevor Haskins, and Luke Lavin. First 3 up for the Stanford Cardinal here in the 7th inning. Couple of Owls pitchers up right now in their bullpen.
Your final lineup: Parker Smith, 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned on 3 walks and 5 strikeouts.
And a strikeout there from Tom Vincent. First out here in the 7th inning. And that is strikeout number 6 for the Rice Owls pitching staff tonight.
There you see from the left side the off-speed pitch. Good job of that up and down curveball.
One out here in the 7th. Trevor Haskins now at the plate. Starting shortstop for the Cardinals. Takes a called strike. Had a ground ball out in the 1st. Struck out in the 3rd inning. And had a sacrifice fly back in the 5th. Ground ball right side. Handled cleanly there at second base by Gallo. Over to Max Johnson. Out number 2 here in the 7th.
And that's what you want to see for the Owls and going to the bullpen. Tom Vincent doing a great job of filling up that strike zone. We take one more look. He got the strikeout for the first time. This one right here, it's a fastball. He runs in on the hands. Haskins, doesn't able to get a good barrel on it, off kind of in between the hands and the barrel. So right there off the middle of the bat, weak ground ball over to Gallo, who fields it easily for the 4-3 put out.
Fastball in there called strike on Luke Lavin. Lavin in the DH slot tonight. A couple of hits already. Singled and scored in the second inning. Also got on a single in the fourth. Ground ball out in the fifth. Lavin, a freshman in the Stanford program. Making his third start of this 2024 season.
And with that third pitch, that is the most. Now that we'll see him, this fourth pitch will be his longest at bat tonight. It was 1-0 on the single in the second, 2-0 on the single in the fourth, and a 1-1 pitch on his base hit, his ground out in the fifth.
Well, he's off of that one, so 3-1 now count against Lavin. 2 quick outs out of the bullpen for Tom Vincent. And to replace Parker Smith, as Kyle mentioned, went 6 innings tonight. Here's the 3-1. And that's going to be a ball 4 inside. So Lavin down to first base. 4th walk allowed by Owls pitching tonight.
As a fastball right over the white of that left-hand batter's box. And frustration for Vincent, obviously. 2 outs, you don't want to have any self-inflicted wounds, and this is a free pass walk that you've issued that has extended this inning. So he showed a little frustration as that pitch missed inside, but unfortunately, you hadn't done a good job of establishing the zone in that bat. You're not going to get the call there as that misses way inside for ball 4.
Timo Becerra now at the plate for Stanford.
So that's 5 straight balls now. So first pitch strike to Lavin before 4 straight out of the zone. Now, the 5th ball thrown is ball 1 here to Becerra.
Becerra heading to 33 now on the season. Started all 8 games at third base for Stanford so far this season. Top of the 7th, been all Stanford tonight. They spread it around between the 1st and 2nd innings and the 5th and 6th innings. All their scoring, 5 runs, 8 hits.
So Vincent seems to have lost the strike zone. That's 6 straight balls thrown. So saw him take an extra step off the mound there. Take a deep breath to recompose and refocus as he gets back on.
Outside there, 3-0 count now from Tom Vincent facing Becerra. Brady Reynolds, the freshman, on deck for Stanford. That one gets away from Vincent. Another walk allowed now. 5th walk by Owls pitching tonight.
And that's now 8 straight balls out of the hand of Vincent. Did a really good job getting those first 2 outs. Challenging more, getting the strikeout, and then getting the ground out from Haskins on an inside fastball. But then after going 0-1 to Lavin, 8 straight out of the zone.
All right, runners on 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. Brady Reynolds at the plate for the Cardinals. He doubled in his first at-bat in the 2nd, lined out to center in the 4th, and then struck out looking in the 6th inning. But still a good night for the Cardinal freshman. Getting the start in right field tonight. Curveball in there for called strike evens the count 1-1. Or I'm sorry, 0-2 now on Reynolds.
Yeah, he's done a really good job of refocusing, and after he got that first pitch strike, we saw Garza, give him a little bit of a nod with the glove, saying, "Hey, good job." He came right back there with a lot of confidence in the off-speed pitch, breaking it over the zone for strike 2.
Call strike 3. Vincent with the strikeout of Reynolds, and that'll do it in the 7th inning. The Cardinal strand 2, but through 6.5, they're still in control. They lead Rice 5-0 here at Reckling Park in Houston.
After stretching out here at Reckling Park, we go to the bottom of the 7th. Stanford leading Rice 5-0, and Matt Scott back out there on the mound, looking to extend to an already career night with 12 strikeouts. Looking up the most they've had in recent memory, Quinn Waters versus Texas last year had 16. Now Matt Scott back out there for his 7th inning of work, 91 pitches, 58 for strikes. Just those 12 Ks and 2 walks, and that's been everything we have seen out of his hand tonight.
Yeah, he has put on a clinic here tonight, no doubt about it, against this Rice lineup. Here in the 7th, Jack Rydell will try to get things started here. 0 for 2 tonight at the plate for Rydell, the Owls' third baseman.
So for Scott, this is a season high in terms of innings thrown. He threw 5 1/3 against Cal State Fullerton on opening weekend. So now as he's back out here for the 7th, this is the longest here. He threw 8 innings a season ago, though, as a freshman against Utah.
Swung on, driven deep to left field. That's going to be plenty. And that's going to be a home run. First hit of the night for the Rice Owls is a home run from Jack Rydell.
Great job of Rydell on a 2-0 pitch, driving that ball down the left field line to break up the no-hitter gem we had seen out of the hand from Matt Scott and get the Owls on the board here in the bottom of the 7th to make this 5-1. The first hit for the Cardinal tonight was a home run down that left field line off the bat of Malcolm Moore, and now here the first hit we have seen from the Owls, same thing. It's an elevated fastball, and we see him lift this ball down the left field line. McDonald going back, and he will watch it go beyond the wall as a quad trip around the base pass for Jack Rydell gets the Owls on the board.
4th home run of the year for Rydell. Could that be the start of something here for this Owls lineup? Now a 5-1 lead for Stanford. Nathan Becker now up for the Owls. He's 0 for 2. He struck out both times against Matt Scott. Andy Garza on deck for the Owls, trying to get back into this here in the 7th.
You saw Moore just telling him, hey, calm down right there. Obviously, you surrendered the no-hitter here in the bottom of the 7th. The excitement, and now here he's come back quickly with 2 quick pitches out of the zone to fall behind.
Some activity down there in the Stanford bullpen right now. And here comes the pitching coach for Stanford out to check on his big right-hander, Matt Scott.
And obviously surrendering the no-hitter, it looks like they may or may not be going to the bullpen, and we see the point, and yep, this is going to conclude the night for Matt Scott. So he took a no-hitter into the bottom of the 7th, but that home run will close the book on a career night for him. Season-long 6 innings, career-high 12 strikeouts as he walks towards that third base dugout.
Yeah, what a night for Scott. He's nodding his head. He knows he had a great performance here at Reckling Park. He will gladly take that. 1 hit allowed just moments ago, the home run from Jack Rydell. And congratulatory handshakes and clapping there for that Cardinal dugout. Well-deserved for Matt Scott. Pitching change here in Houston. We'll take a break. 5-1 lead for Stanford here in the 7th inning. All right, bottom of the 7th inning, no out pitching change for the Stanford Cardinal. What a night for Matt Scott, giving way now to right-hander Cassius Thomas out of the bullpen for the Cardinal.
This is a guy that's a Duke transfer, D1 baseball top impact transfer as he now makes the move to be a Cardinal here in 2024. He's making his 5th appearance on the season. Through 6 innings, he's got a 9 ERA, 9 hits, 6 runs, all of those earned with 1 walk and 6 strikeouts across 26 batters faced. Opponents batting .346 against him. The first batter he's going to face is Nathan Becker, who's glad to see somebody other than Matt Scott out there. Becker got sat down swinging on 2 strikeouts, and so now he'll see if he can keep the momentum in that first base dugout for the Owls following the home run by Rydell.
Oh, Becker, 2 strikeouts, looking to follow up what Jack Rydell just did moments ago with a big fly to deep left field out to the hill. Plenty of distance on that one for the Owls' first hit of this contest.
Remember, he inherited a 2-0 count, so that first pitch missing in the carpet of the all-turf field. It's not dirt when it's all turf, so we'll call it carpet to make it 3-0.
Here's the 3-0 inside. So 2 balls there from Thomas. And Becker will head down to first base. Just the 3rd walk allowed by the Cardinals pitching staff tonight. Oh, Rydell led it off here in the 7th of the home run. Becker on base with the walk. Manny Garza now at the plate for the Owls.
Now we'll see if Garza can also be disciplined as we see the 3rd pitch out of Cassius Thomas's hand fall out of the zone. Rydell did a great job, Becker did a great job of being patient at the plate, not trying to jump over anything, forced Cassius Thomas to come over the plate. He couldn't, draws the walk, but now Garza here looking at that first pitch.
Fastball in there called strike, evens the count 1-1 on Manny Garza, hitting .323 on the year. Home run, 8 RBI so far this season. Ground ball, shortstop. Haskins over to Cobb, over to Nadai, and a double play turn there by Stanford.
Yeah, really great job for Stanford to make sure they can do what they can to erase the walk, and that one right there, the 6-4-3 twin killing as we take one more look at this 1-1 pitch. The hard chopper, you see the range coming from Haskins, the quick set delivery, and then the relay throw by Cobb over to Nadai, who does a great job of fielding his position on that scoop over at first to get the 2 outs.
Pierce Gallo at the plate now for Rice with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Gallo with a ground ball out to shortstop in the 2nd inning, then struck out looking in his last at-bat in the 5th. High and tight there, sent Gallo down to the turf.
Yeah, that's what we call chin music. He did a great job of protecting himself. Now we'll stand back in with the hitter's count.
There's a 2-0 to Gallo. Right down the middle, called strike. 2-1 now. He can keep it alive. Ben Dukes is on deck for the Owls. 5-1 Stanford. Just moments ago, Jack Rydell, solo shot to left. That broke up the no-hitter that had been tossed at that point by Matt Scott.
Yeah, you and I were just looking at each other as we were noticing there was a 0 in a very certain spot on the scoreboard.
Zip on that fastball from Cassius Thomas. Here's a 3-2 to Gallo. That'll roll to the wall. Got past Malcolm Moore. But Gallo is on board with the walk. Keep this inning alive with 2 outs.
Yeah, and seeing that pitch get away from Moore behind the plate. Pierce Gallo, great job of running down to first and sneaking a peek back to see if they can find a way to be aggressive. They're going to, especially in this game, down 4 runs late. So following the home run for Rydell, walks have been able to add more base runners. We obviously had the double play, but Pierce Gallo also being disciplined at the plate puts another base runner on here with 2 outs.
Ben Dukes at the plate now for Rice. That one gets past Malcolm Moore. Gallo in easily to second base. So an RBI opportunity now coming up for Ben Dukes with 2 outs.
This is being patient. We've seen them be patient here in this inning. Jack Rydell jumping all over for that home run, but Becker looking at pitches, being patient, drawing the walk. Pierce Gallo looking at pitches, drawing a walk. And that one right there, Ben Dukes looking at a ball out of the zone, but the wild pitch also being something they could take advantage of, and Gallo moving up to second.
We'll play an umpire, Matthew Martinez, to break it up, just as Malcolm Moore was heading back. You guys talk it over, so here we go again. Ben Dukes with a chance with Pierce Gallo on second base. 1-0 just outside. 2-0 count now on Dukes. Ben Royo on deck for the Owls. Big gap between first and second base if he could turn on one here.
Yeah, even though he's a left-handed hitter, second base playing about even with the umpire, a few feet away from second base.
Call strike 3-1 count now on Ben Dukes. So full count now between Cassius Thomas and Ben Dukes for Rice. And he takes ball 4. So another walk in the inning. That's 3 walks now in this 7th inning for Stanford pitching.
And there's where we talk about just, focus on the next pitch. Owls being disciplined at the plate here in this inning following the leadoff home run for Rydell. As you mentioned, another 2-out walk. Dukes joining Gallo on the base pass as this inning continues in favor of the Owls.
All right, up to Ben Royo now, hitting 192 on the year. Chance to keep this thing going with a couple of runners on now for the Owls.
Both those walks on 3-2 counts. A great job of the Owls being disciplined to win those battles on long at-bats.
And they're called strike, evens the count 1-1 on the Rice Owls shortstop. Sophomore out of Corpus Christi Veterans High School. I mentioned earlier, power from last year. 13 home runs as a freshman, really lit it up in the middle of the year. Had the first 9-10 games, no home runs, and then he caught fire over the course of the next 30 games.
They did a really good job, of having a productive freshman season.
Hopper right back to Thomas, and he'll dump it over to Nadai, and that'll do it here in the 7th inning. But not before Rice breaks up the no-hitter, and they get into scoreboard here. The mascot delivery to Jack Rydell to deep left. Solo home run gets Rice on the board. They've got work to do, though. We go to the 8th. Stanford on top, 5-1. We go to the 8th inning here at Reckling Park in Houston, Texas. Randy McElroy, Kyle Rogers, 5-1 lead for Stanford, and a pitching change, Kyle, for the Rice Owls.
And Garrett Stratton takes over. He's making his 3rd appearance on the season. No ERA, no decisions for the 6'2 Houston sophomore. 3rd inning and a 3rd. No hits, 2 runs. Those are both unearned. 2 walks and a strikeout on 4 batters faced. He is the 3rd pitcher we have seen Vincent, in his one inning, no hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts on 19 pitches tossed in relief of Parker Smith.
Ethan Hott will lead it off for the Stanford Cardinal against Garrett Stratton. Last at bat, he's in the 6th inning, reached on a error by Al shortstop Ben Royo, wound up scoring. Prior to that, ground ball out and a strikeout, hitting .231 on the year. Ethan Hott, Owen Cobb, and the top of the order, Court McDonald here for Stanford in the 8th inning. Five runs, 8 hits in the ball game so far tonight for Stanford. Owls limited to just that 1 hit, the home run from Jack Rydell.
Some young fans here at Reckling Park clamoring for that foul ball.
Tomorrow's going to be a busy day here on the Rice campus. Women's Stratton inside, that's going to hit Ethan Hott. So he will head down to first base.
You're entitled to the box. The 1-1 pitch, he actually turns to protect himself as that ball hits right off the middle of his back. But not what you want to see in the first batter faced. This pitch right here out of the hand of Garrett Stratton, you see him turn and doesn't hit him in the back. It actually hits him right on, it looks like just above that pad on the left arm, right there on the American flag patch.
Leadoff hitter on base now after the hit by pitch brings up Owen Cobb now. Starting second baseman for Stanford. Had a single back in the 2nd inning. Struck out swinging in the 5th and walked in the 6th. Hitting .289 on the year. 3 homers, 8 RBI. Court McDonald on deck for Stanford. Yeah, I was talking about tomorrow on campus. We've got a women's basketball game just across the parking lot at 2 o'clock, and then this one will start at 4:30 here at Reckling Park. And they're encouraging fans, if you're going to the game at Tudor Fieldhouse here on campus, go on over to Reckling Park, show you that ticket, and you'll catch some baseball, man.
And for a very short walk, you can catch 2 sports in action here on the Rice campus.
Mixing a few hot dogs probably at both locations.
Beverage or 2, you go from sitting inside in a chair to sitting outside in a chair.
Right. I think the weather's supposed to be okay tomorrow here outside too.
Yeah, and it's good scenic views. The backdrop here at Reckling Park is the Texas Medical Center.
Yeah, I love this look here. Beautiful ballpark. Rice campus just a couple of blocks away from the medical center. Two and two count now on Owen Cobb, number 9 hitter in this Cardinal lineup. Well, outside, full count now.
Little interesting from Stratton as he holds the runner. That last pitch, he was looking over his right shoulder, his back shoulder as he was coming set, watching him over there at first. So rather than sneak the peek on the inside, you see right here, he's looking back and then looking over that way to sneak a glance before turning around and coming home.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on, foul ball right over us here over the press box. Owls at Stanford with 2 more this weekend. Prairie View here at Reckling Park Tuesday, as we mentioned earlier. Then Rice heads on a long flight to Honolulu. They'll be there for about 5 days, get in 4 games against the University of Hawaii. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. and out number 1 here in the 8th inning.
That's a good battle back at bat for Stratton after the hit by pitch to Hott. Battles all the way there, 3-2, finally winning it with the elevated fastball, drawing the swing from Cobb to complete their 4th time through the lineup.
It's the 8th strikeout by Owls pitching tonight against Stanford. On the flip side, Stanford struck out 12 Owls hitters. Brings up top of the order, this is Court McDonald, hitting .400 on the year. Struck out back in the 1st, but in the 5th and 6th innings, picked up singles here tonight. Scored the Stanford Cardinal run in the 5th inning. Make it 4-0 at the time. Donald, one of 4 sophomores in the lineup. Well, miscue there on the ground ball by Garrett Stratton, trying to get the out at second base. Misfired there. The ball was dropped as well. And the runners are safe there for Stanford. Take a look at that again.
Yeah, Pete pitcher fielding practice does a great job on the comeback or right to him, but he rushes the throw. And that's what pulls Royo off the bag. He's forced to try to do 2 things: come off the bag, grab, and come back to make the tag, and he just doesn't see it all the way in. And so what could have been, in 2-out situation, getting the lead runner at second, now it's a 1-out situation and 2 on.
Second error of the game tonight for Rice, and Royo with the other one for the Owls. 1 out, 2 on now for Stanford, up 5-1. Jimmy Nadai at the plate for the Cardinal. Throw down there by Garza. Rydell can't hold on. The runner comes in to score. And that is a 6-1 lead now as Ethan Hott hustles in.
And that's the hustle for Stanford here in this inning, taking advantage. We saw a good move on them trying to do the double steal. The throw gets away and doesn't get far away from Rydell. As we take one more look at this throw from Garza. It's a good throw over to third, trying to make the tag. He just doesn't see it on the backhand as Rydell still coming in. And it skips into that coaching box, which is just a couple steps from him. But the quick feet of Hott able to come home.
Third error of the game. They're going to call that an E5 on Rydell at third base. One out here in the 8th inning. Court McDonald on second base right now. Jimmy Nadai from Sydney, Australia, here in the Stanford program. Swing and a miss. And a strikeout there for Stratton. A big second out here in the 8th inning.
And needed that right there. Following the double steal move, an error of it allowed a run to come home.
Ninth strikeout for Rice pitching tonight. 2 outs now in the 8th inning. 6-1 lead for Stanford. There's Stratton trying to get out of this one with a runner in scoring position facing Malcolm Moore. Way back in the 1st inning, had that solo home run to left field. That got Stanford on the board for their first run of the night.
It's just a frustrating inning here so far from Stratton. It was a hit by pitch. Moves up to second on a throwing error out of his own hand, and then a double steal and an error by the third baseman is how he comes home. Interesting.
Or to keep it going, Trevor Haskins is on deck. Go ahead.
Yeah, interesting mound visit there by Martinez, home plate umpire. He walked out there essentially to turn around and walk back. I'm not sure if something was said with regard to the pitch clock or something, but I mean, it was a very walk up, walk back motion from him. And there you see the soft throw out of the hand from Stratton. In college baseball, you get one in disengagement now. You have a second one in the at bat. It is a charged ball to the hitter. So time after time again now here, you'll see that soft throw, just making sure they get rid of it to preserve the disengagement.
Here's the 0-1. Swung on, popped up. Rydell with a chase on it. Gets underneath it as he falls down to make the catch. Nice play there by Jack Rydell, backtracking for out number 3 here in the 8th inning. But the Cardinal add to their lead, pushed another one across. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Reckling Park. Stanford leading Rice 6-1. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. Randy McAvoy and Kyle Rogers, 6-1 lead for Stanford. And a pitching change for the Cardinal after Matt Scott and Cassius Thomas. Talk about that in a moment. Right now, the upcoming schedule for Rice, we mentioned earlier, Prairie View will be here after the series against Stanford over the weekend. And then at Hawaii for a 5-day trip. They'll play 4 games. And then back in H-Town against Houston Christian, U of H, Tulane coming up. Hey, before you know, you're going to get deep into March, conference play. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and you look at everything when they come back, you know, the series at Hawaii, then Houston Christian facing Lance Berkman, a former Al and Astro for Jose Cruz Jr. teammate. Houston, the Silver Glove series, and then from there, you know, it's conference play. Tulane, that's your first series in the American Athletic Conference as we see the first pitch out of the hand from Volchko, Joey Volchko coming in after an inning by Cassius Thomas. This is a guy that has a lot of buzz. He's the number 13 top freshman rated by Perfect Game. His electric arm. You see that straight over the top arm slot, 91 to 94 fastball. He's got a mid-80s slider. He's got a high 70s, 12-6 changeup or 12-6 curveball and a changeup as part of a 4-pitch mix.
The last pitch was 97 on the radar. That one's 96. He's bringing it tonight.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, this is a guy who was amped up. He was sitting in the mid-90s coming out of high school. Serious first-round buzz for him coming out of Redwood High School in Visalia, California. Just flat-out dominant when he was there, too. He's 4-0 with a sub-1 ERA, 0.26 with 67 strikeouts and 27 innings. He was the number 37 draft prospect coming out of high school, and now he finds him in his first season as a Cardinal.
For ball called strike 3. That was nasty. That went down about 88, 89 on that one. And another strikeout for this Stanford pitching staff tonight. That is their 13th strikeout as a staff tonight.
Yeah, this is another guy with a young arm that they're looking for big things for, and he's picking up right where we've seen out of the hands, just straight dominance with that stuff.
Trayton Rank, top of the order for Rice. Facing Volchko. Checking his, I listed him as 6'4". He looks, from our vantage point, he looks taller than that. But
looks like he's towering out there on the mound. He's got a great presence on the bump.
Whereas the starter tonight, Matt Scott, was 6'7". First glance, Volchko looked like he was close to that, but listed at 6'4". Definitely a live arm.
He was 91 to 94 coming out of high school. We've seen him light up the gun in the mid-90s, 96, 97 here in the early goings. Definitely the electric arm that we've heard about.
Rank will take the walk for Rice here with 1 out in the 8th inning. Sixth walk allowed by Stanford pitchers tonight. Brings up Kite McDonald, hitting .242 on the season. A couple of home runs, 3 RBI. He struck out his last 2 at-bats, one swinging, one looking.
Yeah, you see more. The catcher for Stanford just say, hey, calm down, and that's going to draw a quick mound visit. As we talk about just trying to slow him down. That straight over the top arm slot, he's working very quickly out there. Here's where we see the Kathy Wolf assistant baseball coach Thomas Eager in his 7th season alongside David Esker. A quick mound visit. So they've had a lot of success in arms coming out of that Stanford program. For the 3rd consecutive season, Stanford was home to the Pac-12 Pitch of the Year as Quinn Matthews earned the league's nod last season. Big expectations coming off 3 straight College World Series appearances, 2 straight Pac-12 titles, and they've been picked to finish 2nd in the league this season in what is the final year of Pac-12 baseball as we know it.
Absolutely. First pitch into Kite McDonald, called strike. Actually, second pitch to McDonald. 1-1 now. Rank on first base after the walk. Jack Rydell, who homered in his last at-bat and has delivered the only hit of the night for Rice. He's on deck right now. Ground ball through the hole into left field. First hit of the night for Kite McDonald, and the Owls have something going here with 1 out in the 8th inning.
That was a 1-2 pitch. You see him sit back on the slider as we take one more look, just driving it through the left side of the infield, the 56 hole between the shortstop and third baseman. We'll put 2 on with 1 out.
All right, here's Jack Rydell. Last at-bat, drilled one to left field for the home run, the solo blast. His 4th of this season. And opportunity now with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Rydell, local product from the Houston area. Senior out of Memorial High School here in Houston. Out in front in the count, 2-0 now.
So it was a 2-0 count when he hit that home run his last at bat. Finds himself another one here.
Good swing on that one by Rydell. Rank on second base, Trayton Rank. Kite McDonald on first for Rice. DH Nathan Becker on deck. Here's the 2-1. Inside, ball 3. Trying to get a look at that Stanford bullpen. They've got a couple of tents up. Looks like somebody might be up down there for the Cardinals in their bullpen.
Yeah, it looks like someone is going pitch for pitch with Volchko out there on the mound. See, this is a guy that looks like he's just all gas. Obviously out of the hand at 97, but same with his motion coming home. He's working quickly, and there's just so much energy as he comes to the plate.
Ball 4, and the Owls will load them up as Rydell heads to first base. Rydell at first. Kite McDonald at second. Trayton Rank at third with 1 out here in the 8th inning. And Nathan Becker at the plate. 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of strikeouts and a walk.
So we talked about his limited playing time a season ago, 11 games, just 10 starts. But he led the Owls with a .310 batting average in 2022. But before he sees his first pitch from Volchko, they will go back to the bullpen.
Yeah, pitching change coming up here.
So, yeah, obviously.
Joey Vogel, as advertised.
Yeah.
A freshman getting that opportunity tonight, but they got to make a change with the bases loaded.
Yeah, the electric stuff, unfortunately, just missing out of the zone. Al's taking advantage with their patience at the plate, and they'll see if they can keep things going.
All right, we'll take a break. Pitching change here at Reckling Park in Houston. 6-1 Stanford. The Owls loading them up there in the 8th inning. We'll be right back. Six-1 lead for Stanford here, bottom of the 8th inning, but the biggest threat of the night right now by the Rice Owls, Kyle, they load them up. Pitching change. Torrin O'Haron now in for Stanford.
You see 6'1", 190 pounds for the native of Rockland, California. The sophomore on the season making his 4th appearance through 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run it was earned with 4 walks and 8 strikeouts. He has no decisions and a 2.08 ERA. His opponents are batting 188 against him. And obviously he's going to inherit the scariest situation for a Cardinal pitcher tonight with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
So Aaron in trying to get out of a jam now. See if the Owls on their end could put something together and climb back into this. Still some time left here at Reckling Park.
And they're looking for a strikeout, and they're going to one of their strikeout guys. He made 17 appearances last season, including 1 start to go 1-1. The ERA doesn't reflect it, 11.65 over 17 innings. But he struck out 25 hitters in that limited work, averaging 13.24 strikeouts per game. They need to strike out here.
Nathan Becker hitting .379 for the Rice Owls. 6 RBIs on the season. Swung on, fly ball left center field. That's going to hang up there for Ethan Hott. Runner tags from third base, and the Owls get their 2nd run of the game. As Trayton Rank tags and scores from third base. And it's 6-2 now, Stanford.
Becker will get picked up as he goes back into that dugout for a job done. Jumped all over the first pitch he saw from O'Haron and lifting it out to the outfield for the sac fly to cut it to a 4-run ball game.
All right, runners on first and second now with 2 outs. And Manny Garza at the plate for the Owls. Last at bat, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Also flew out and struck out back in the 2nd inning. Hitting .313 on the season. Two and 0 count now on Garza. With Pierce Gallo on deck for the Owls. Swung on left field. Is that going to stay in? It will. Carrying really well to left field here tonight at Reckling Park, and that is out number 3 for the Rice Owls in the bottom of the 8th inning. But back-to-back innings, they've pushed runs across. Still trailed by 4, though. Stanford leads it 6-2 as we go to the 9th inning here at Reckling Park in Houston. Stanford leading Rice as we head to the top of the 9th inning. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Cardinal. 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 errors for Rice. Take a look at the upcoming schedule now for the Stanford Cardinal, who've made the trip out from the West Coast. After this series here in Houston against Rice, they'll be back home or back on the West Coast. Road trip to Cal on the 5th, and then next weekend at Washington, things ramp up, followed by Southern Cal, series with Creighton and Utah. So busy month ahead for the Stanford Cardinal.
And a chance for David Esker to go home. Spent 18 seasons as the head coach at Cal from 2000 to 2017. We highlighted, of course, a big win for him in his time as the skipper there earlier in our broadcast.
Trevor Haskins will lead it off for Stanford here in the ninth inning. Leading 6-2. That one got a piece of Haskins there on that offering from Garrett Stratton. So he will head down to first base.
So that's the second hit batter that Stratton has. He's put the leadoff man on in both innings now. Put the leadoff man hitting hot in the bottom of the eighth, excuse me, the top of the eighth, and this one right here just clipping. Looks like that elbow pad. Yep, right there at the bottom, the part that's extending off.
Got a piece of him there. So leadoff hitter on base now for Stanford, facing Garrett Stratton. Luke Lavin now at the plate for the Cardinal. Had a base hit, scored back in the second inning. Another hit in the fourth. Ground ball out, and he walked in his last at-bat in the seventh inning. Hitting .429 on the year. Lavin, a freshman, getting the start tonight. So look it up down the starting lineup for Stanford tonight. It includes 4 sophomores, 2 freshmen, a couple of see how many juniors? Yeah, 2 juniors, 2 freshmen, 2 juniors, also 1 senior. That would be Owen Cobb, the only senior in the starting lineup tonight for the Cardinal. Stanford with a run in the first, 2 in the second, 5th and 6th. They added 2 more to go 5-0. The Owls have responded with single runs in the last 2 innings. Make it a 6-2 game, but only 2 hits tonight by Rice. Here's the 2-2 to Lavin. .430 first pitch tomorrow in Game 2. Then a 1 o'clock start on Sunday afternoon. Three-two count now on Luke Lavin. That's ball 4. First 2 on board now for the Cardinal here in the 9th inning.
Cardinals would like to add an insurance run as Rice has pushed one across each of their last 2 trips to the plate. Before they go to the bottom of the ninth, seeing what they can do to add to their lead up 4, and a hit by pitch and a walk put them in a good spot here, as that'll draw a mound visit by Jose Cruz Jr.
That's some activity. The bullpen looks like they're going to make a change here. That was the 7th walk, by the way, allowed by Owls pitching tonight.
We saw the signal pointing down that right field line with the right arm.
So Garrett Stratton tonight is done. He'll head to the dugout, and a new pitcher will come in for the Rice Owls here with no outs in the 9th inning. Pitching change here at Reckling Park. We'll take a break with them. 6-2 Stanford on top here in the 9th. Top of the 9th inning here at Reckling Park. No outs. The Stanford Cardinals on top. Cardinal on top 6-2 right now with a couple runners on and a pitching change for the Rice Owls, Cal.
Yeah, it's number 27, Tyler Hamilton. He'll take over here in the top of the 9th. The senior, 6'1", 205-pounder out of Dallas, Texas, is making his 5th appearance on the season. He is 0-1 with a 7.2 ERA. 5 innings under his belt, 5 hits, 4 runs, all of those earned with 4 walks and 2 strikeouts. And this is a guy that became a regular contributor in relief after making just 4 total appearances in his first 3 seasons at Texas Tech. He appeared in 19 games with 1 start, posting a 1-3 record across 26 innings pitched, but he enjoyed great success at Reckling Park, going 1-1 with a 3.6 ERA.
Timo Becerra at the plate for Stanford with runners on first and second and nobody out. Takes a called strike. He's walked twice tonight.
So he laid down the sac bunt when called on back in the 4th.
That one in there, called strike from Tyler Hamilton. Other at bat, he popped up to the second baseman. Brady Reynolds on deck. Ground ball. Rydell dives and makes a stop there, keeps it from going into left field, but no play at first base, and the Stanford Cardinal have loaded the bases now with no outs here in the 9th inning.
And it's a great defensive effort on Rydell, and obviously a great swing by Timo Becerra down 0-2 to put this ball in that 56 hole. You see the lateral movement, the dive to his left is Rydell, but unfortunately, because he doesn't field it cleanly, just knocking it down, he's got to eat the play, and that'll load the bases here with no outs.
Well, Brady Reynolds was due up, but pinch hitting is Saborn Campbell now with the bases loaded. Campbell often coming in late innings in the outfield. He's a junior out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, in the Stanford program. Hamilton's in there on called strike, evens the count 1-1. Campbell hitting .214 on the year. Owls have it now to within 4, 6-2. Trying to stop this threat here in the 9th inning. There's a 1-2 from Hamilton. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So quick work of Campbell. And out number 1 here in the 9th inning.
So trying to avoid trading an out for a run if they can, so hunting the strikeout, and you see a great job low and outside, going soft and away to draw that swing for the first out.
Ethan Hott at the plate now. He was hit by a pitch his last at bat in the 8th inning and reached on an error and scored in the 6th inning. Waves and swings and misses on that offering from Hamilton.
And once again, the off-speed away, drawing the swing and miss on back-to-back pitches. The first one here to Scott, or Hot.
Owen Cobb on deck for the Stanford Cardinal. All quiet in the Stanford bullpen. A couple of guys up for Rice. So Hamilton ahead in the count now, 1-2 on Ethan Hott. Not getting the start tonight, center field for Stanford, hitting .231 right now. Ground ball back to third to Rydell. Force out at the plate, down to first base. Double play turn by the Rice Owls. Jack Rydell fired to Manny Garza, got the out at the plate. Garza fired to Max Johnson. We'll see if they're going to look at the replay or not.
5-2-3, the hot shot to Rydell. He comes up throwing home for the force out. Garza then a good friend of mine to throw down to first. That 5-2-3 twin killing as we go to the bottom of the ninth.
Plenty of time. Rice with a chance. They're down 4 with work to do coming into the ninth. Bottom of the ninth inning here at Reckling Park. Rice Owls down to their final at-bat, down 6-2. Randy McAvoy, Kyle Rogers with you. They've scored single runs in each of the last 2 innings, Kyle. They've got work to do here in their final at-bat.
They're going to have to see what they can to get over facing Torrent O'Haron. He faced 2. He retired 2 to get the final 2 outs of the 8th. Now back out there to see if he can shut the door in the 9th.
Owls started off with Pierce Gallo, their starting second baseman. Gallo 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a walk. Trying to get his bat going this season. That went in there at 93. From Torrent O'Haron. It'll be Gallo, Ben Dukes, and Ben Royo for Rice. Called strike 3. Gallo down on strikes. Second strikeout for him tonight. And let's see how many now for the pitching staff of Stanford. That's number 14 tonight for the Stanford Cardinal pitching staff.
And talk about hitting a spot right over the black. Torrent O'Haron, 95 over the outside corner, right into Moore's glove for strike 3.
Ben Dukes now at the plate for Rice. First pitch, a little high, ball 1 for the Rice Owls right fielder. 0 for 1 tonight. A couple of walks and a strikeout for Dukes. Hitting 7th in the Rice lineup tonight.
So Heron doing a really good job of working away to these hitters. He went away to the right side into the left-handed batter's box to get Gallo now right here working to the right-handed batter's box in these last 2 pitches. That one, of course, missing away with the previous pitch. Once again, just painting a spot to go to Moore.
Outside 3-1 count now on Ben Dukes. And Ben Royo on deck. Max Johnson would follow.
Almost hit him, but a ball in the carpet. He'll look at the free pass.
Dukes heads down to first base. That Royo was due up for Rice, but we have take a look at that pitch one more time. Yeah, it almost got him there on that
you see him
right leg.
It's that back foot, he scoots back.
Pitch hitter now for Rice for Ben Royo. It's Jacob DeVinny, a sophomore out of Prosper, Texas, up in the north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Ben Dukes on first base. Then he takes a called strike. O'Haron's the 4th pitcher tonight for Stanford. It began with Matt Scott. You missed the first part of this one. Matt Scott was brilliant tonight on the mound for the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely doing a gem. 6 innings, carried a no-hitter into the 7th with 12 strikeouts, a career high in strikeouts for him on the night.
Yeah, he had the full arsenal working tonight against this Owls lineup. 1-2. He was a count 2-2.
This is the second game played by Deviney in 2024, but this is his first plate appearance. I was doing a quick double check of the stats to make sure I was reading that right.
Always good to get that first at-bat. Kind of check that box, right?
Well, and he was productive in, small size last night. He batted just 194, but he hit safely in 10 of his 13 starts. So when he got the opportunity, he was able to make them count in key moments.
Here's the 2-2 to Deviney. Another good swing on it. Got a piece of that one. Well, the Owls just trying to find some consistency with this offense. Jose Cruz Jr. told me Wednesday night before the LSU game, he feels like they're getting there. They're close, and it's just a matter of getting these guys some confidence and believing they can have success every time they're in the box. Slow roller second base from Deviney. Owen Cobb fields it cleanly over to Nadai, and it's out number 2 here in the 9th inning.
And it was a good job of protecting. Unfortunately, he doesn't win the battle on the 4-3 put-out. But to talk about what you're talking about with Jose Cruz Jr., he said they have complete buy-in. Anything that's volunteer, they all show up. They all hold each other accountable. And as you just mentioned, just looking to finally get that production on the field here in year 3. But everyone has a reason on their team why they want to be successful this season. Some it's their last year. Some it's a point of pride of getting the program headed in the right direction and be part of that foundation. And others just have aims, to go and play beyond at the professional level.
Owls down to their final out now. Max Johnson at the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts tonight. Again, as a staff, Stanford has 14 against the Rice Owls tonight. Johnson takes a call strike, evens the count 1-1. Then Duke's on second base. The Owls down 4 now, 2 outs in the 9th. Weekend series with Stanford. Back at it, 4:30 first pitch Saturday. Here's the 1-1. Out off right side. Torrin O'Haron, 1 strike away from closing it out for the Stanford Cardinal in this series opener.
Not a bad pitch. If you're O'Haron out there mound, a great job of Max Johnson being disciplined at the plate there to not chase it.
Full count now on Max Johnson. If he can keep it going, Trayton Rank, the leadoff man, is on deck for Rice. High and inside, ball 4. So Max Johnson heads down. Seventh walk given up by Stanford pitching tonight.
Max Johnson doing a great job of laying off those pitches. The 1-2 was a borderline pitch, and a great job of him to spit on it to make it go 2-2, and then looking at those next 2 out of the zone to draw the second free pass in this inning to turn that lineup over for Trayton Rank.
First pitch called strike on Trayton Rank. Walked and scored in his last at-bat in the 8th inning. He's 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts tonight. Runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Some Rice fans unhappy with that strike 2 call over the outside corner. Now Rank's been forced to step in there and protect.
Here's the 0-2 from O'Haron. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for the Cardinal pitching staff. That is 15 strikeouts now against this Rice lineup tonight. What a job by the pitching staff of the Cardinal.
And they got the tone started early with the home run from Malcolm Moore. Offensively, then when they went out there on the field, Parker Smith, with all his strikeouts, Matt Scott with 12 strikeouts, Joey Volko with the strikeout, and Torrin O'Haron adding 2 more here to shut the door in the 9th inning to take game 1. We mentioned both these teams coming in 3-5. Someone was going to get a step closer to 500, and it's the Stanford Cardinal tonight improving to 4-5.
So Stanford making the trip from the West Coast down to Houston. They'll be here for the weekend, and they get the opening game of this 3-game series here at Reckling Park. And for Rice, they'll look to bounce back tomorrow afternoon. Again, first pitch coming up just after 4:30 here at Reckling Park. But Stanford gets the victory tonight. Great job by the pitching staff with 15 strikeouts led by their starter, Matt Scott. And Stanford gets the victory by a final of 6-2. Hope you enjoyed it. For my partner, Kyle Rogers, I'm Randy McAvoy saying so long from Reckling Park in Houston, Texas. Once again, the final score, Stanford, a winner over the Rice Owls, 6-2.